Hey guys, May here, and on my channel I like to discuss our inverted language system, the zodiac, music lyrics, the occult symbolism throughout our file-based matrix experience, and also just as a general side note, it's all things that I discuss that are symbolic as far as clues excuse me, clues to the nature of this experience, the nature of what we call reality, which I see more as a film reel, REEL, than a real place. But that's the good news, as you never have to take any of it too seriously. So I titled this video "Sleeping with the Enemy," and the reason is so many of us just don't think about the fact that maybe you're late at night scrolling. We just don't think about the fact that we can fall asleep with the device, right? And you know what I'm talking about. The device, ironically, has the letters DIV, which is 504, and that's huge symbolism, Masonic Vatican type code. A whole nother video on that for another time. However, device, gadget, cell phone, right, prison cell. So I have been making it the habit to not fall asleep near. It's always on airplane mode, but to not fall asleep near the Black Mirror. What's that word? Scrivy. Do you know what I'm talking about? I know you guys know Scrivy. It's the supernatural black magic mirror based black cube type occult access. The access, essentially it's the access of the mirror that they would use apparently in ancient times, but that is considered to be, from what I can tell, the cell phone and the TVs and the computers. It's the black screen. It's a scrivy. It's type of supernatural black magic. So the worst thing the worst thing truly that you can do is to sleep with that phone near your head, honestly. And I think it's become a habit in our habitat, of the Who man falling asleep near this phone. And you've got sensitive wave based systems residing all around you, that you can't, that are etheric, that you cannot see. Because, I mean, as you know, we're so limited by the five senses. We are so limited in that we just can't see the real, the grid, the matrix, the waveforms that surround us. You can't even see your own etheric body around you, but it's absolutely there, and it's a spirit, it's a sprite, it's electrical, resides all around you. But you get interference, if you will. That's FEAR. You will receive interference patterns in your biofield if you sleep with the black magic mirror. So my advice to you, which you could heed my advice, I would hope, just try it. It's another form of logging into the analog and just promoting naturally induced sleep without any interference of the wave systems, right? So my advice is to, if you can, have it on the other side of the room if you need it in the room. I think one of the worst things we're doing now is using them for alarm clocks. And I've got myself a battery operated and a plug-in, like vintage Groundhog Day style alarm. So I think that could help you. Just a standard old school alarm. I think it's worth a shot. It's worth a try. I'm sure that the lower dimensional forces are measuring our biorhythms in all positions. That's why we have a laptop, so it can sit atop the lap and read our systems. Because the lower dimensional forces, which is just an extension of the EYE emanating, like to have fun and like to gain data, if you will, right? So I think we can all agree on that. So the thing is, as far as sleeping with the enemy, yeah, that's what's happening. You're sleeping with the lower dimensional forces surrounded, they're surrounding your etheric body. The etheric body, according to Manly P. Hall, here's a little bit of occult knowledge, is the etheric body is, what would you say? It is connected to the spleen. No irony there that the word spleen is in sleep, right, when you invert the letters. So that's the spleen, and I find that really fascinating. As more and more you learn about the mechanisms of this avatar, you will see the connections of all that's in the gut exactly mimic that which is in the brain, which mimics that which is in the sky as well, the constellations, the fornix, the fornax, which I talk about all the time. Um, so the waves, you get interference with the waves that are surrounding you, that etheric body that's surrounding you, when we have that black magic mirror. That magic mirror, right? That black cube in which we all fell down the hole, the black hole. And that's not to be derogatory or negative in any way. It's just an experience, right? We are high dimensional beings. We operate on a higher system, a more advanced system than the lower dimensional forces, but it's always that power struggle that we all experience on a daily basis, right? Even this system, you've always got to have your armor up and be on guard. So, but that's okay. It just makes you stronger and more powerful. So that's how you learn to fly, in essence. That's how you learn to fly. If everything were wonderful, you would never, if you didn't experience struggle, you would never experience the power or feel the power or harness the power that you need to eventually exit the system to higher dimensional realms, right? So having said that, with the waves surrounding us, that we sleep, we sleep, and then we're producing through the etheric body, this, some would call the aura, but there's absolutely waves. So think about this, Bluetooth, right? Think about this just for a moment. And I'm going to cut this video in just a second. It has to be short today as we're all on fast forward mode. But think about this for a moment. Bluetooth, sawtooth. I mean, what's a tooth? A tooth is a wave. It's a wave. Bluetooth is a wave. These are waves. Now, would you agree that you have waves going through your brain? Of course you do. You know that there's gates and there's waves, inside of I meant to say brains, the left hemisphere and right hemisphere. You've got gates and you've got waves. And as far as I can tell, from what I've read, there's like 7 waves. There's, alpha, beta, right? You know most of these, delta. And delta is kind of a half asleep mode, which is why the triangle is so prevalent in this machine-based matrix. You see the triangle over because so many people are sleepwalking in their coma bernices state. So here's the thing, is that with the waves, that Bluetooth interferes with our naturally induced waves that we need for sleep. That's why I refer to it, again, as sleeping with the enemy. So that is my suggestion to you, is to turn it off completely. If you can, power it off. It'll still emit a little bit of EMF, but overall, it's much better than sleeping with it on, especially in Bluetooth mode, unless you just don't like sleep. So you want that good, deep REM sleep. REM, yeah, I got my spine, REM, that's right. So speaking on that, side note, the Orange Crush, It's ironic how when you really think about it, the orange crush and the spine, because we know the spine is Jacob's ladder and we climb it to reach the skull, to reach the hill, to reach the activation of the pineal. And so it's like it's funny, not funny, but interesting, that song, uh, as the orange crushes the spine. So REM sang a lot about this sort of thing. What's the frequency, Kenneth? You know that one. That's about waves too. And yeah, there's a series of waves. I believe that it's seven. So I could be off by one, but I believe the seventh is the strongest and the highest. And that is related to the song, What's the Frequency, Kenneth? You can goggle it. You can research it. So anyway, that's it for now. I just want you to think about this. And no, one other tidbit I wanted to tell you today, by the way. I do not put my hands on my computer. I use the mouse, and there's a reason for that. Because you don't want your hands touching that pad too much, right? And definitely not touching the computer if you can help it. I also use little pins so my hands aren't touching the screen so much. You could look into that. They're so cheap. But I limit I don't use, I mean, unless it's absolutely like urgent and I've got to reach for the phone. And I also use a retro handset as well, as much as I can. And I have a landline. So I do all sorts of little things. And there's gloves that I have, which oftentimes will forget to wear or can't find them. But I'm going to work on that. You know, if I'm going to come to you and suggest some techniques and strategies, logging into the analog, moving away from the digital, I surely best be acting out these principles myself, right? Or otherwise, what good is it? Yeah, I certainly wouldn't preach anything to you without first-hand knowledge. I can assure you that always. So those are some techniques that I use. The gloves are good. The turning everything off for sleep during the day, limiting as much as I can. I do a lot of painting, drawing. I always tell you, pen to paper, writing in notebooks. It helps. You want to use your human basic activities and skills and employ them as much as possible on a daily level before you forget them, to be honest. The amnesia kicks in. I mean, we've rewired our brains. We've rewired these mechanisms in our robotic brains, which it is robotic. It is a computer, right? But we're rewiring it to move faster, to multitask, all this nonsense, which really what you need is to slow things down, engage in more analog activities, pen to paper, drawing, writing, gardening, sculpting, anything using your hands, so that you can separate, so you can avoid more of the amnesia and the rewiring that's taking place. I mean, at a rapid pace. Did I just rhyme there? I'm a poet and I didn't know it. I used to say that a lot as a kid. Okay, I'll stop there and love to see your thoughts. Sleeping with the enemy. Maybe you're someone who never sleeps with your phone. I mean, I never sleep with it on, but I mean, maybe you've conquered this, and that's fantastic, or it's something you need to work on, whatever. I just like to hear your thoughts. I love to see your thoughts. I think you're all amazing. You're brilliant minded, and more on the zodiac and language, and more on all things decoded in this symbolic nature, hidden in plain sight reality in which we're all experiencing in a file-based manner, nothing ever to be taken too seriously, nothing to fear, and I will be back soon in the next one, coming to you from New Orleans, actually, in the next week. Okay, thanks, guys. Thanks for listening.